Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. We got our preview for this week, San Jose State. We're getting right back to it. Home opener at DKR. Now the seventh ranked Texas Longhorns. But hey, we about to bounce back this week, Tran. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to talk ball with you. I want to, kind of the Ohio State game, again, being the one off, I said that's Q1 of the season, and I still kind of maintain that focus. So we're now entering Q2. Q2 is essentially for me these three September games before the SEC opener, and just excited to really find out a lot about our team growing from this Ohio State experience. I think this Ohio State experience could be one of the biggest positives for us moving forward if we handle it the right way, Tran. For you, looking back, right? We did our live right after the game. We didn't have an opportunity to watch any replays or tape. Those just the fresh emotional reaction. Few days removed since then. Where's your head at? Has your opinion changed on anything? Do you feel differently about anything? Where's your head at, brother?
No, I really don't feel. I feel kind of the same. I was indifferent to the loss. Of course, I wanted to win, but to me, if this the way it plays out is the way I hope it plays out is that this is something that was needed immediately. That way, it just brings us back to earth right away, as opposed to, oh, okay, we beat Ohio State, then we go on this 3-game win streak because without disrespecting our next three opponents, we should outclass them in every single individual category. But and us going into the Florida game, all overhyped and everything like that, and then us having a wake up call then. I think it looks a little bit better now that we have this wake up call and then we have these get right games. Um, I do love the way that our defense competed. I really do. I thought we were fast, we were physical. What do we do? We gave up less than 3 yards a carry to an Ohio State team that's extremely strong, historically extremely strong in the run game. Yes, we were doing this to put the ball in Julian Sayan's hands. However, we even kept them under what 200 yards. You said
Under 300 yards total. I
yeah,
think. I mean,
under
Sane only threw for 120.
120. Yeah,
And
so
they ran for another 77. So it was, I mean, they were right around 200 yards total
yeah,
offense.
yeah,
And we only allowed, as Kieran astutely pointed out on the live,
two
um,
drives.
they only had two drives over the 50-yard line, right? So, by the way, shout out to Kieran. They just announced his new show, Speakeasy, with Emmanuel Acho and Shady McCoy. That will be on YouTube covering posts starting after the Cowboys Eagles game. So
That's
shout out to
awesome.
brother Kieran for
Congrats, brother.
linking with those. Those three will be an interesting group to watch. But no, you're spot on about how what we were trying to do with Julian saying. The thing is, and this is going to be something that we have to pay attention to in the big games because it's not going to matter in a lot of the games we play, honestly. But in the big games, we have to try to get margin early. We have to try to get a lead early. Sark is now what 1 for 6, some disastrous records, either 1 for 6 or 1 for 8 against top six opponents. He's on some James Franklin stuff right now. The one win is Nick Saban 2023. So now that we're looking at all these big games, one of the common denominators is we're playing from behind in almost every scenario. Every scenario, even if it's a 7-0 lead, Ohio State could decide we don't need Sayan to throw the ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
They were very judicious in and that's really difficult if you're Colin Simmons, if you're Anthony Hill, because I know people are like, oh, they didn't have the greatest games, but like they're revved up to hunt and attack. And it's hard when somebody is definitely obviously playing on conservative mode because they earned the right to do that because they got a quick lead. So that's something I'd like for us to learn from. But I do think the defense did, obviously, they held their water the entire football game. They gave us multiple chances to tie this game and even to win when you think about how many times we moved the ball offensively down the field. So all those things are encouraging. Trent, I want to throw out some names at you real quick. just to really give some people on the defense their flowers. Let's start with the interior defensive line. Cole Brevard,
Mm-hmm.
Alex January, Hero Canoe, former Ohio State Buckeye. Those guys were fantastic on Saturday. Tran, the interior guys, and Hero Canoe actually was getting interior pass rush as well. I mean, so they were clutch on rundowns. They did a great job, and I thought Leona Leifau was able to play off of them, and you saw him getting all these tackles. But I think it started up front, Trent, with January, Canoe, Brevard, guys like Watson. So the new defensive tackles came to play.
Yeah, it's very refreshing, especially with what we lost from last year. I mean, geez, man, we had another just roster full of D tackles or D linemen that got drafted last year, and then we just replace them with people who are just ready immediately to step in and play right away. And they played at a high level against a very good team. It's very refreshing to see that.
So, and even on the back end, Michael Taft graded out very well. Jelani McDonald, Malik Muhammad,
Littleton,
so and Grayson Littleton
yeah,
obviously was the star
he
of,
was a
of
stud,
this. Yeah.
stud. It's like,
Very excited to see his progression moving forward, building off of this, right? Because you're not going to play guys better than Jeremiah Smith, but you also want to see the consistency, and that's been the name of the game with what we've heard about Grayson Littleton coming into the game and why practices matter. Because Manny Muhammad said it, I've heard Michael Taft say it, I've heard Ant Hill say it. He is like that every single day.
yeah,
He practices like that every single day. He does
and
not change. So I want to see that in the games moving
yeah,
forward. I'm
yeah.
excited.
Well, the way you have to actually look at it is like game recognized game. The first thing that Jeremiah Smith did was he ran over to Manny Muhammad, gave him a big hug, dapped him up, and then he saw Littleton and he gave him. It was like that's all the recognition you need, right there.
So, I think defensively, everybody feels good. I know Colin and Anthony Hill, they'll get theirs. This game coming up, we will get to San Jose State here in a second. They're more spread air raidish type. They're going to throw the ball a lot. They threw the ball 46 times last week. I expect them to throw the ball a lot in this game. There will be some pass rush opportunities. They don't, they do like to take shots. So some of those longer developing plays, I do think we'll be able to get sacks and stats and make some of you guys happy. It's hard to get stats though when people aren't passing, especially
Mm-hmm.
when they're not passing on your terms because you're playing from behind.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind when you think about why we're not getting some of the statistics that we'd like to see from these guys. You got to earn the right to rush the passer. Now, offensively, one of the things that has come out is, and I think we were really hard on the receivers, um, you know, getting separation. Do we have a receiver one? Man, we really miss Matthew Golden. I know that's a lot of emotions that were going through my mind and thoughts. Now, when the All 22 comes out and, Chase Daniels did his film study, Brooks Austin did his film study, a lot of people doing yeoman's work on the tape reviews. The consistent there, and I haven't watched QB schools yet, but I will. I'll get to it before Saturday. The consistent is there was opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't clamped every play. Now there were plays where he had nowhere to go with the football, and there were maybe too often of that. But I do think we were a little too harsh on the receivers, just from the standpoint of just either flat misses or they never even got looked at and he chucked the ball down to her back, right? Like there's two plays I can think of where DeAndre Moore is running to space
Mm-hmm.
naked.
First play of the
And
game.
first play of the game, but even later in red
Uh-huh.
area where he checks the ball down to Baxter. So
Yeah.
it's a completion for 4 yards, but it's like you just missed an explosive, right? And credit to Matt Patricia yet again, because he mucked up the waters good enough to where it made Arch not see the field the way you'd like for him to see the field. And now, when the explosives do come or a bust did come, let's say a guy ran to the post instead of taking the third, he didn't see it because it's everything was sped up. I have some thoughts on this trend because I saw some things that from other games and other teams that I think we can apply. This is why it's a learning period. But I want to see Arch, obviously get tuned up and hit on those explosives and see the field better, especially in year 3 in this system, and just get having that overall comfort. But where's your head at in terms of the Texas passing game?
I want to see him hit on the short to intermediate. That's what I want to see. I want to see him work on that here and let his playmakers get confidence with run yards after the catch, because we know that Arch has an arm. We know he wants to throw the deep ball. One thing that I think that separated him and Quinn was to me was more accurate on the short to intermediate passes. And that's where I think we left a lot of meat on the bone from an offensive perspective. So I want to see him work on those,
and the layups.
Yeah, of course, sprinkle in the shots just to get that confidence going. But just work up a rhythm with your offense, and not just Livingston, not just Parker Livingston, because you could obviously see they have a connection, because that looked like his safety blanket that he wanted to throw to. But that's just me. I want to see him hit those little quick crossers, those quick drag routes, just those little easy hooks, those little hitches over the middle that you can hit, those little swing passes to the running backs that we've seen so well throughout a Sark's offense, and that's what I want to see get better from San Jose all the way to Sam Houston State. So when we actually get into our SEC play, we have the full arsenal ready to go.
It's funny you say that, and well said by you. I think that's something we took for granted with Quinn Ewers, right? All the banter about him being a 7th round pick, blah blah blah. That again, the guy was second team all SEC, and if you're one of the opposing fans screaming about him being a 7th round pick, and your team lost to that guy, then what does that say about your team?
And he missed 3 games too. He missed 3 games as well.
And still led the conference in touchdowns. So, yeah. I mean, again, while there was a lot of frustrations there, to your point, he was accurate with those, especially 2023 and 2024. Those were, it was almost a point where we didn't even think about it. It was, and I think it was taken for granted when you see Arch struggle with those, especially in key moments, 3rd and 5, basic crossers to Wingo, where he's like, that's the opportunity to get the ball on.
You got him in space. In space.
Yeah. So definitely want to get that stuff cleaned up ASAP. Another thing, and this is more on the Sark side of the house. I noticed that we were under center a lot early in the game. And I think this is something that I had concerns with about pre-snap penalties, but I will give credit. Jake Crane, I was wrong, and he was right, at least about the first game. And one of the things that I give him credit, he said he feels like Sark is now that he has Arch, is going to come out there and act like he has Peyton Manning. And damn it, he was right. I feel like at the beginning of the game, because he was running his offense like he had like Matt Ryan, like 2017 Matt Ryan, like the guy, like he forgot Arch is a college quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He forgot that Arch really has thrived in more of spread. Like last year when we played Arch, it was mostly spread, quicker tempo, not under center, pre-snap reading everything, operating like Peyton. And you got to let Arch be Arch.
Yeah.
I feel like. And I think towards the end of the game, and I think Ethan Boyd has been writing about this as well, Texas was utilizing more spread concepts, more 11 personnel, more tempo, and just getting into their stuff. And then also giving him RPO, run pass options, letting him use his athletic ability. And he just seemed to be more comfortable and was able to get stuff going better at the end of the game. I think you got to use Arch in that vein to start off with, get him comfortable. Yeah, I understand what Sark is trying to do. He wants to have that power run element, that true play action element. and that's the other foundation of his offense. But it's okay to say that we're not there yet. It's okay to say that. But one thing I did notice, Bill Belichick and them, North Carolina versus TCU the other night, where North Carolina got their doors blown off.
Mm-hmm.
One of the adjustments that I saw happen in that game that I think we could learn from, Josh Hoover, TCU, Sonny Dykes, that offense, they got off to a slow start against Belichick and them. And a lot of the stuff that North Carolina was doing pre-snap was a little similar to what Ohio State was doing pre-snap. But you know what they did to just fix all this? They went super fast tempo. Don't let them set up their defense. Just snap the ball, right? Like wherever they're lined, all this chicanery of like we're in zone, but we're gonna follow like we're in man. You can't do that if people are going tempo or if you don't motion. So a lot of people are talking about like Texas, we didn't see enough motion and blah blah blah. Well, sometimes you got to pick one because if you're gonna do all the motion stuff, you can't go tempo. Think about it, because motion is to figure out what the defense is in to get data, right, and to figure out okay, boom, pre-snap, we know where we're going to go with the ball. But if they're lying to us and they're not committed to their keys pre-snap, then to me, screw the motion and go tempo.
Yeah.
And I think that's what TCU did with Josh Hoover and them, and they just ran all over North Carolina.
Well,
So
I feel like we started doing that in the second half, like our first series in the second half, and we were getting positive yards.
mm-hmm.
And it started to look like we were getting comfortable within the offense, and then we went away from it.
We slowed down too much in the red zone too.
No.
That and we didn't execute certain plays. Like I don't think like for example the fourth down miss where Parker Livingstone Arch throws a very good ball, right? You could argue if Parker should have come down with that. I thought that was a tough contested catch. However, looking at the replay, and Sark kind of said it, Ryan Wingo was the primary. Ryan Wingo was open. Now, he would have got blasted by Caleb Downs, but he would have got the first down. And so it's like stuff like that where it's like, that's not necessarily a bad, like in defense of Sark, he's like, that's not a bad play call. He chose to throw the ball over there instead of the primary. Work the primary because the primary was open. So, but at that point, that just speaks to Caleb Downs. Arch is spooked by Caleb Downs at this point in the game. And he's seeing him stand. He's like, I know if I throw it to Ryan, he's going to get blasted. But it's like, dude, that's the first down. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's a lot to learn from. But for Sark, I know he thinks some of the air raid stuff is a little cheap sometimes. And just by them just running tempo and just snapping the ball and people aren't lined up and taking shots. But like, I don't care. If people are going to go to that extent to disguise their stuff and dress it all up, don't give them the time to set it up.
Yeah, it's
the counter.
Sometimes I know he thinks it's kind of cheap, the air raid stuff, but
he does.
Sometimes it's not about the X's and O's; it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, and you just got to get your people the ball in space. It's like if that works, keep on doing it until they adjust to it, and then you can go back to your stuff.
Then you can go back to your stuff.
But one quick mention of what we were talking about is like one of the things, like when we were going tempo, I think the thing that killed that drive is I think it was like 3rd and 6, and then we got a false start penalty.
Yeah, and it kicked it to 3rd and 11.
Yeah, kicked it to 3rd and 11, and we just can't. Situationally, we can't do that. If you get your false start, and I don't want our teams to get false starts, it's got to be like a first down. It's got to be a first down. Like, because third and 6, even if you get 2 yards, it's 4th and manageable.
Yeah. It's so different. 3rd and 6, you can run the ball on 3rd and 6. You can do 2 for 1 on 3rd and 6.
Yeah.
You can do 2 for, like, Sark likes to do 2 for 1 anyway. You can do 2 for 1 on 3rd and 6. 3rd and 11, I got to block it up. I got to hope somebody uncovers. They're probably going to bring a heater of some sort because the coordinator's not going to let the quarterback to sit back there. It's a lot going on. The chances of success go down significantly when that happens. Great call out, Tran. Just putting a bow on this. I mean, we're going to do a deep dive on the Ohio State game with the Unfiltered guys. We're going to do a live stream with them. So I don't know when people will see this video. If you may see this video after we've already done the live stream, but it's going to be at 4:30 on Wednesday. But we'll because I want to get their notes from the game, but this is just Tran and I unpacking the rest of our notes. But overall, I mean, I put out a short today about Arch in the flashes he showed, and I want to end on a positive before we get to San Jose State. Um, I'm very encouraged by his fourth quarter. He kept battling. He didn't put his head down. I'm encouraged by the body language of the entire team. I thought Brooks Austin made a great point about DeAndre, Ryan Wingo, Parker Livingstone. All of them got missed at some point, and you didn't see not one person have bad body language or look at the quarterback. Because that happens. Jeremiah Smith threw a fit after the first one when Julian Sand hit Max Clare in the face
And dropped it.
And dropped it.
And he went on and dropped the next pass he got.
And Jeremiah, but he was mad because he did clear,
Yeah.
right? He did beat the defense, but he was yelling on a play where my man actually threw a good ball for a completion. So, like, we didn't see our guys doing stuff like that when they got missed even worse. You know what I mean? I think that's a good overall sign of, like, look, it's development. We're gonna grow with you, bro. We're here with you, man. But we ain't gonna call you out. We ain't gonna embarrass you. We're gonna settle this in the lab. Let's get back to the lab. Let's get these. We just got to get more reps and tuned up. But I look, people talking about talent and all this type of stuff. I don't really care if Arch is a generational talent or not. This has nothing to do with Texas winning football games, as far as I'm concerned. I know that we can win with Arch, and I know that he has more than enough talent to thrive in Sark's offense for what we need. That's the only thing that matters. Let everybody else deal with that noise about him being Trevor Lawrence versus this person versus that person. Those are debates that are going to happen over years of time. But for the sake of this season, I want to see Arch be the guy that we saw more of in the fourth quarter that threw that ball to Jack Injuries, that hit Parker Livingston. Those are throws that he can do at a high level, and that will get his stock way back up. If he gets those, that's why his PFF grade wasn't in the toilet, because he made 4 big time throws. A lot of times guys maybe make 1 or 2 of those type of throws a game or maybe every other week. He made 4. So there's something there, obviously. It's not like, I think some people are going so far because we scored 7 points as if he's like the worst thing ever. And it's like, there's clearly flashes of talent there. We got to hone it in and get that consistency. And it starts to your point. You made the best point. Hit the short stuff, fix the mechanics, get rid of the sidearm bullshit. Like, get back to the fundamentals and you'll be fine. Because if you can just hit those and get the ball in the playmaker's hands, we can. I like what you say. We can add the other stuff.
You can sprinkle it in, stretch the field, and no joke. If he starts hitting those and he starts like averaging like 280 yards per game from a passing perspective, it's good. All this trash talk about him for the game 1 against a very good Ohio State defense is going to flip again, and then he's going to start getting patted on the back left to right. Oh, he is that talent that we were looking at, and that's why I'm like, hey, I think this is a good thing that it happened the very first game of the year.
Me too. Yeah, credit to Ohio State, man. Patricia and Ryan Day.
Yep.
They got a good squad, and we may see them again. I expect Ohio State to be dominant in the Big Ten again. I expect Julian Sand to progress. I expect them to get their passing game clicking. They're going to be a dangerous team. So respect to them.
Yep.
I have them as, I know that, people are debating. To me, there should be no debate. Ohio State should be number 1. They're the defending national champs. They beat the number 1 team at their crib with new guys, and they're still looking like that team. They should be number 1 until somebody dethrones them, in my opinion. Yep. Moving on to San Jose State. So we have our home opener, 11 a.m., bright and early. And this San Jose State team that's coming in, they're 0-1, just like us. They lost to Central Michigan 16-14. Had some really bad kicking issues in that game. That was a game where it was a weird game. If you go and watch that game, where both teams were moving the ball, but they we talk about our red zone issues. It was a disaster for them, as well as turnovers. There was a lot of turnovers, so they lost to Central Michigan. But this is a team, and when I ranked the quarterbacks that we would face, um, this kid Egit, um, what was this? What was this stuff? Oh, no, let me go back to the offense. Uh, Walker Egit. So he threw the ball 46 times last week. They also brought in another quarterback to do some QB run stuff here and there. That was like a freshman. But him and their main go-to guy, Danny Scudero, put up some big numbers last week. And Scudero is one of those short little, quick receivers. You know exactly what the profile is, Tran. That can be a nuisance. But they take shots too. They take shots. They're an aggressive. They're an aggressive passing offense, but they make a lot of mistakes, and they're just they all the things that you are typical of a bad team: penalties, missing blocks at the worst possible time, quarterback being overly aggressive, throwing interceptions. All of that is on tape. Bad kicking game. So this is a game where I think this is a perfect opportunity for Texas to get right. And I also like the fact that this is somebody that's throwing the ball. So it's going to be work for our secondary in this game. It's going to be work for our defensive guys that want to get that pass rush going. I think these are valuable reps that they're going to get, with San Jose State coming into town. What say you in this matchup and what you want to see from this team, Trent?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is an ability to be a stat game for people. I hate to say that, but like if they're going to throw the ball 46 times against us and we don't get 1 to 2 turnovers on them, that's bad on us. We don't
I
get
agree. That would be a little alarming.
Yeah, we don't get pressure on the quarterback because I what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to dip it, dink and dunk a little bit. But hey, you got to make them test you. Make them have not a three-step drop. Make them do a 5-step drop to get our people. Like I think to me this is a stat game. I don't want any we lost last game, so I don't want any excuses of hangover game. This is a hangover game where in the third quarter it's close and then we start turning it on to beat them. No, you dominate from snap one and get a whole bunch of people in the game that need to get that experience in the game.
To your point, they threw for over 300 yards last week, but they had 3 turnovers.
Central Michigan's different than Texas. I think people will agree with that. And it's I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all.
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
what I'm saying with San Jose is if Central Michigan can get 3 turnovers, and some of them were just careless. They weren't even so. But again, this is who they are on film. Texas should at least be able, I would say, to at least match that. If we at least match that, I'm cool with it. Again, game flow matters. How's the game playing out? If they come in here and start acting like Colorado State did last year, where they don't even run their normal offense and they just do the whole we don't want anybody to get hurt and we're going to tuck our tails between our legs, then yeah, your opportunity at turnovers is going to be limited because the other team's playing scared money. If they come in here and do what they do, which is throw the football a lot, then we should be able to turn these guys over a bunch, in my opinion, with how aggressive they are. The other side of this is Central Michigan ran for 250 yards in this game. And if you look at the tape, the tackling on San Jose State was atrocious. They are very, very poor in the open field. If you look at their PFF grades, even some of their better guys are grading out in the 60s tackling wise. So this also could be a game where we have some really big gap runs, some opportunities for some big highlight reel runs, and guys, to your point, Trent, getting the ball out in space. Open field tackling is going to be a big challenge, I believe, for San Jose State in this game as well. to generate some explosives because Central Michigan really doesn't even have a quarterback. They didn't really throw. They were the guy was running around. The backs were. I mean, they won the game throwing for like 50 yards, and they still won. So again, I think this is a game that Texas should cover. Come out here pissed off.
What'd you
Come out
say?
here ready to play.
35? Did you say what was the spread? 33 and a
I think
half?
it's like 36, 36 or 37. 1 second. 36 and a half. Yeah, 36 and a half.
Okay.
Now, you know, this team, just if as long as we're handling our responsibilities in the pass, because they can put up points. Walter, he's put up numbers against some Power Four teams before throwing. He is an experienced quarterback. He's played a lot, but you're going to have opportunities to get turnovers in this game, and you're going to have opportunities to run all over these guys. My question for you is this: what young guys do you want to see in this game? Especially guys that really didn't get opportunities. It could be offense or defense, but guys that didn't get opportunities in the Ohio State game, as we want to try to build our depth.
Yeah. I want to see, so especially with their run defense so porous, but I didn't actually look into them. To tell you the truth, I didn't look into it because I know they're going to have a different gear against us, but I still think that over time, if you're a bad tackling team, you're a bad tackling team. You're not going to fix it in 1 week.
That you can't fix that in 1 week. No.
Yeah, and I think that Trey's going to have a good game. I think that CJ is going to have a good game, and I thought they had a good game against Ohio State as well. To tell you the truth, but I want to see Christian Clark in there. I want to see him get some reps. I want to see some of a little bit of. I know that they said, "Hey, we're going to evaluate some other players," and I think he was talking about wide receivers. So I want to see Lockett play. I want to see French play.
Michael Terry as well.
Michael Terry, Aaron Butler. But one person I want to see play, and this is very, and this is just a personal, is Jonah Williams. I want to see him get out there. Get some reps at safety and see how he can do as a playmaker. And then finally, one thing that I want to see is I want to see our field goal unit. I know you don't want to kick field goals, but I would like to see 1 to 2 field goals actually attempted because I want to see how the ball comes out, how the snap comes out, how we execute the field goal. Because I don't want to go into a big game and a field goal and us not have kicked or set up a field goal. Try. And that's what I want to see. I want to see these are get right games for me in my opinion, and I want to see everything laid out.
I like your list. McCutcheon as well, freshman receiver. He was actually the lone freshman that played, and not only played but caught a pass in the Ohio State game.
Yep.
And one of the quotes from Parker Livingstone, who was his high school teammate at Lovejoy, so them two go together. But Livingstone said McCutcheon was the fastest receiver he's ever seen to pick up Sark's offense, and that's why he was getting play. Because if you think about it, he didn't come in here with the same prowess as French, Lockett, and Terry, but he was the one that was playing because they said he's just
he understood
mentally. He understands it. So they actually trusted him to be out on the field, and he, his one target he caught it. So I think he's going to get some opportunities to play. I also want to see Ryan Niblett in the return game. They need to get right. Punt return, kick return. I just want to see our return game be a little cleaner.
I wonder if it was turned off. The way that he avoided even trying to fair catch a ball. I wonder if it was completely turned off.
Yeah, they were conservative with it. I felt like it didn't kill us, right? It wasn't, I wasn't sweating, but hey, shout out to my man Silas, baby. He made I think the Texans practice squad. So he's still, he's hanging around, man. Shout out to Silas. Should have been invited to the combine. But yeah, I want to see Niblett just have some opportunities there. Just so the same way you said about field goals is how I feel about punt return and kick return. One of the receivers you mentioned, I'm going to kind of highlight because I think most of these guys I think we're going to see all of them play. At least we should. But I'm going to start backwards and work my way forward. Aaron Butler.
Aaron Butler. Yep.
Aaron Butler, these games are very important for Aaron Butler to me for his trajectory at Texas because he is a year older than those other guys. He's in the same class as Livingstone. And so I want to see and that number one, but number two, he's a burner. He's an actual burner. And people have been asking about, well, where are the big plays going to come from and all this type of stuff? Is it only Ryan Wingo? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think Livingstone obviously showed, and I keep telling people, like, Livingstone's actually a deep threat, like on the outside at 6'4" because of how he runs. And he did get behind somebody in Ohio State and got a touchdown last week. But I know what people mean by that. They're looking for the guy that runs like Isaiah Bond or Worthy or blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying Aaron Butler's like that fast, but he is a burner. And so the question with him behind the scenes, it sounds like, is picking up the offense. Does he really, really understand the offense to where he can play fast, like you saw with his tape in high school?
Holy crap.
So for me, that's a big one.
I just Googled it. The first thing that popped up was Aaron Butler clocked in at 22 miles an hour during a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
I think this is big for him. Yeah. Like I said, for his trajectory at the program, because I mean, at some point, you guys are being recruited over you, right? And I like guys that want to stay the course and be patient, but we also have to be realistic as well. The other guys are, other thing is, I want to see the consistency even with guys like Livingstone. Keep the party going, right? I want to make sure, first and foremost, the most important thing is that Arch is on program with Wingo, Moore, and Livingstone, right? I don't expect Mosley to play probably until maybe later in the month.
Yeah.
But those are the three right now that are your main guys, right? Injuries, I feel like he has the connection there with injuries from a tight end perspective. But before we even get to all the backups and people were excited to see, we want to make sure that first and second quarter, they're on program. And it's like, okay, they've clearly made the adjustments they need to make week over week to be in sync with each other. So that's critical for me. On the defensive side, guys like Landon Jackson, I think these are going to be valuable reps for Tyanthony Smith getting to play a little bit more. He did play in the Ohio State game, made some plays, but want to see him out there a little bit more. And then some of the younger DBs, I think, are going to have opportunity to play, like the Cade Phillips of the world, Kobe Black getting more opportunities. And this is really to build our depth, right? And fortunately, I don't think we had too many people get banged up in the Ohio State game, but it's important as we go into conference play that we feel good about our 2s and 3s as well. The last thing I'll say, Tran, before we get to predictions, I know there's, Connor Stroh and Neto rotated at left guard. Honestly, I think they were both fine. I didn't agree with Connor Stroh's PFF grade, but that's another conversation for another day. But, I know some people have hinted at, well, maybe playing Connor Robertson at center and moving Cole Hudson to guard. And, is that your best five? I know Eric Nolan was one of those folks that is positioning that. I think these are also the games where you kind of let that stuff sort itself out. Let those guys continue to rotate. If Goosby's, can get some rest, let him get some rest. He again, the guy warrior spirit playing last week with one hand, and it wasn't a problem. But guys like Baker, obviously they need the reps and the timing. But, let the offensive line stuff work itself out over these next few weeks as well. That's my take on that.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with it. I think that they didn't really see a lot of blitzing from Ohio State. They didn't, which is, I think that they're going to start seeing some a lot this week. I think that they know that they're going to have to try to get pressure, and I don't know if they think that they could get pressure with their front four. I think they're going to have to bring someone extra. So, working on blitz pickup or stunting or anything like that. This is a good time to see who handles that type of pressure better than the others, and that way will work out the actual depth chart.
By the way, Cedric Baxter, y'all see why he
plays. That pass but you and I both called that out. I was like, that play happened because of Baxter. Mm-hmm. And then right after, I think it was Kirk said no, it was Gus Johnson who said
that's
it right
over. That's NFL running back. That's how you play early, is when you're able to pass block like that and really set the tone against backers and so that's why he plays, amongst other things. But that's why he's a full menu guy. Which you want to go first with your prediction?
Sure. I'm going to say 48-10.
Cool. Any non-offensive touchdowns, turnovers, anything crazy like that?
I don't think we'll have any non-offensive touchdowns. I think we'll have short fields from. I probably will have a special teams block. I think.
I like it. I'm predicting we'll have a block kick as well.
Yeah, special teams block, and I do think that we get a couple of interceptions that set us up with short fields.
Nice. I really want to see Texas really be explosive in this game. I normally don't pick scores this high, but I'm gonna go probably like 58-10, and something in that range, which would be the over. The over-under for this game, I think, is 52.5. And then Texas is 36.5 point favorite. So I don't know. I just think that with us getting turnovers, I think we'll have some short fields and just opportunity to really balloon the score pretty quickly. I think some guys are itching to showcase, knowing these games were coming, that these are the audition games to really show why you should be on the field. And I also think it's going to feel different because this is the first opponent that's not your own people or Ohio State, and it's gonna feel easier. Like let's just call a spade a spade. That's what I expect. I think Arch is gonna come out and look fantastic. I really do. I expect him. Again, he's in year 3. We can't handle him with kid gloves. Yeah, I know he's a new starter, and I don't expect him to be perfect, and I don't expect him to be a Heisman candidate. Like that's why I never talked about Heisman with Arch before the season. But I also said you can win games with somebody, learning on the job when you're this talented and you have the defense we have. You can win now. And so I do want to see Arch look clean and sharp and blow these guys up. 58-10 is my prediction. What are you laughing at?
I was on mute. I said Georgia did it with Stetson Bennett.
Any other closing thoughts, Tran?
No. The fans. I mean, hey, it's the first home game. Enjoy it. And if Arch does not start on fire like everyone wants to see, let him work it out. Be patient. I don't want to hear any booing or anything like that. Let the kid work it out. That's me. He will. You saw what was happening at the end of the Ohio State game. He started getting in a rhythm. He's just not there yet. He's not fully baked. Let it happen.
I do think that the Texas community conversations are a little bit different from another community out there. If you want to touch on that, Tran. I mean, let's just say it. Is Bama cooked?
Bama cooked.
This is bad.
This is bad. This is real bad. Like I'm not gonna. When you're in your press conference and you clearly stated we had a real good week of practice, what did that sound like? Sound like Tom Herman, right? And then you get blown out. It was awful. Like the defense was, they just were not even reacting to the ball. They didn't care. Sorry, if you're going to be this bad, throw in Keelan Russell and let him
Oh,
try to make a play.
oh, man. Bam. Where are
Throw
Bam?
throw him in, man, because that was it, we were watching that. We
Yeah.
were watching. We stopped to do our live, but we were watching it. We're like, this is this. We were like, well, I don't feel that bad anymore if I'm a Longhorn fan.
I was shocked. I mean, it's just shocked at the lack of physicality, the lack of preparation, the lack of effort and passion. I mean, you're letting guys just run down the sideline and
Yep.
score where, you know, basic football common sense sidelines your friend, push them out of bounds at the minimum if you're not going to tackle. Like, the Bama thing, this is just us being college football fans. There's none of the Texas stuff, but it's just like, man, that's that there's a lot of pressure right now on because he already had pressure on him coming into the season. And you know, there was expectation. A lot of people were picking Alabama to win the national championship. And not to say that that's like completely off the table, but it's also how you looked. Like you didn't even look like Texas. At least it's like, yo, I can say our defense still looks like a championship defense. We got to get the offense worked out, but we know, we competed on the road against an elite team. That Florida State team, bunch of transfers from a 2-10 team, and you're favored by what, 16 points or something like that. Like, that's inexcusable to have that level of effort. It's the effort, like, first and foremost. And then you look at the mistakes. They can't even block inside zone. They you know people are going to the wrong gaps. They look poorly coached. And I'm surprised when Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer, guys that we couldn't even beat them when they were at Washington, but now they're at Bama and it's a mess. So
I think Michael Penix was just that special. That and the wide receiver core group, because that's the team that we faced. We faced them 2 years in a row,
yes,
and they were that good. They really were. I mean, look, Penix is the starter on Sunday. Those 3 wide receivers are starters on Sunday. Like that, they're just that good of a team.
man. So we'll see. We'll see. I gotta hit up some of my Bama friends out there. You know who you are, Brinsky, Ty Hayes, wellness checks on our friends, because that was different. That was different than a loss. And I will say, just to close, I said this with Texas: don't let a loss turn into 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
That felt like a loss that could spiral. I'm not saying necessarily their next game because I think they have a tune-up game, but after that they play Wisconsin, and I was going to say Wisconsin was a light game, P4 game. Now it's not, and then they play Georgia at the end of the month.
Who did
Like
who did Florida lose to? Florida State lose to early last season, where we knew
Georgia Tech,
Georgia Tech,
and that game they all said that Georgia Tech loss turned into 3 losses.
Yep,
because if they
that's
just
what
couldn't
it
get their
felt like to me watching that game. It felt like just a mirror image to that game because Georgia Tech ran all over them,
mm-hmm.
and Florida State ran all over them.
So yeah, if you're a Bama fan watching, let us know. Are you guys cooked? Just wanted to have that quick conversation. But hit the like button, subscribe. Let us know what your predictions are for Texas versus San Jose State. The Spartans are coming into Austin, Texas, 11 a.m. Saturday morning. We are looking to have a good get-right game, get a lot of guys in this game, offense and defense, and see our Horns get into the win column for the first time this year and get back on track. Tran, thank you as always. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man.
And remember, Horns always up.